Duluth community came together to raise money and awareness about animal cruelty in honor of Lovebug, a dog that died after being severely neglected. This was Lovebug. Animal Allies took in the dog last November and charges were filed against his owner. Lovebug was severely emaciated and eventually died. Well, tonight Animal Allies hosted a memorial in Lovebug's honor. The family-friendly event gave the public an opportunity to learn about community resources, animal cruelty laws, and how to report cases of animal abuse.
Our goal now is to just get resources into the community to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again, but also, continuing to remember Lovebug and the ways he has inspired the community to donate so that we can keep helping medical cases that come through our door.
The community has raised more than $14,000 for Animal Allies. If you'd like to donate to Lovebug's legacy, which is a monthly membership, that's $11.11, marking the date November 11th when Lovebug arrived at their center.